society's best interest to treat this patient like a patient who needs their meds to keep them alive.
Now at 6 o'clock, a startling, unprovoked attack on a Washington County deputy, and it's all on video. But now a new revelation about the inmate's history may give a better idea about what happened.
It is time to actually call it what it is, an impeachment inquiry.
Oregon's final congressional delegate takes a stand on the impeachment inquiry as investigators release the whistleblower complaint.
And a local racer uses her feet and her bike to achieve victory. Only problem is this wasn't a triathlon, and now she's admitting her cheating goes far beyond this one run in Vancouver.
An earthquake can happen just like that.
And experiencing a powerful earthquake. The Big Shaker brings a crucial reminder on the importance of being prepared.
We are going to begin, though, with breaking news here at 6 o'clock. Oregon Governor Kate Brown announcing a second person in the state has now died from a vaping-related illness.
There is now an urgent call for anyone who vapes to stop immediately. KGW's Morgan Romero is here, and Morgan, public health officials just held a news conference about this.
Yeah, actually, when I came into the studio, it was still underway, and the governor earlier and state health leaders are urging people to just stop vaping until officials can determine what exactly is causing Americans to get so sick. Whether it's cannabis, nicotine, or any other vape product, they say quit now because no products are considered safe. Oregon health officials say before this person died, they were hospitalized for respiratory issues after vaping cannabis products. They wouldn't release gender or age, but did say it was an adult. This is now the second death here in Oregon and one of 5 cases reported so far in the state of illnesses. Health officials announced today those 5 people were all adults, all hospitalized, and all reported vaping cannabis products from licensed retailers.
What we're here to do today is to urge individuals to stop vaping. The safety of this product has been in question for a long time. We know that this product is not safe, and we've seen health effects from this product. But with these acute respiratory injuries and deaths, we do urge all individuals to stop vaping, whether that's nicotine-based products, cannabis products, or other products. And people who haven't vaped shouldn't start.
And that message echoing the message across the country. Today, the CDC reported hundreds more cases of serious lung sickness nationwide. There are now more than 800 cases reported, up from 530 last week. At least 14 people now have been reported dead. Officials haven't identified a single ingredient, product, or device as the root cause of the illnesses, but all the sick patients have reported a history of vaping or e-cigarette use. States are already cracking down on e-cigarettes. Washington is looking to ban flavored products. State health officials here and across the country are working with the CDC and the FDA to get to the bottom of this. Back to you guys.
Yeah, so many unanswered questions here, and health officials wanting people to just take a step back while they try and figure it out for us. Morgan, thank you so much. There was a major development to tell you about in the medical custody battle. It's one we've been following now, and late today, a judge ordered a 13-year-old cancer patient will not have surgery tomorrow. The judge delayed the procedure. KGW investigative reporter Kyle Oboshi has been working the phone since this came down. He's live in our newsroom. Kyle.
Dan, this ruling comes less than 24 hours before Kylie Dixon was scheduled for surgery. 2 sources close to the case confirmed late today a judge issued a stay. That means the 13-year-old and her mother were successful in their last-ditch effort to delay the procedure. At the center of this debate, Kylie Dixon, the 13-year-old cancer patient, said she doesn't want surgery to remove a tumor. Kylie's been in state foster care since June when her mother failed to follow a court order to bring Kylie in for prescribed medical treatment. Her mom, Christina Dixon, previously told KGW she believes alternative treatment, including CBD oil, should be used to treat her daughter's cancer. The state claims various medical experts agree without surgery, Kylie will get sick and eventually could die. I'm told an emergency hearing will be held on Monday in this case as the state objects to the judge's decision. My sources also confirm the judge allowed Kylie's mom to withdraw an agreement she made last May, giving the state jurisdiction over her daughter. This is significant because it could take this medical custody battle back to square one. Again, all parties will be back in court on Monday. In the meantime, the headline here, no surgery for Kylie Dixon. Back to you.
Kyle, thank you.
Downtown has seemed to have lost its mind collectively, with the amount of violence and crime that I've seen.
That is the man who says downtown Portland, in his own words, just said has lost its mind. He has lost his ability to walk. He was living on the streets for a year before prosecutors say he was attacked and left for dead in broad daylight.
Nearly 2 months later, Garrett James Fisher is paralyzed for life and trying to shed light on just how vulnerable homeless people are to violence. KGW's Maggie Vespa joins us now with this exclusive story. Maggie?
Yeah, Laurel, Dan, and as you know, it's a pretty graphic story. We want to get that out of the way at the top in case people want to change the channel. But basically, Fisher told us that he wanted to tell this story because he feels like this attack, although it was the most brutal by far, wasn't really an isolated incident. He said he was homeless in Portland for a year, and in that time he was robbed, chased, beaten multiple times. And studies show homeless people across the country face that reality all too often. Of course, in Fisher's case, it changed his life. And again, one more warning, his story is hard to hear.
I see his eyes, like, because he was nose to nose with me when he stuck me with a knife. I hear his voice. I feel his weight on me.
The flashbacks come without warning.
I feel the fear that I can't find my dog and thinking that she's dead already and I'm never going to see her again, and that I'll never see my family again.
There's no stopping them.
And those are the hardest ones to deal with.
Better to play music, find a distraction.
Let me going back in.
And move forward. At the age of 30, Garrett James Fisher is adjusting to life without legs. He's paralyzed from the waist down. It happened almost 2 months ago, on the evening of August 1st. Fisher was homeless and camping in southeast Portland.
I got back to my camping spot near Omsey, just by the Tillicum Bridge where it meets the road.
After spending the day searching for a friend who'd fallen off the radar, Fisher returned to camp, frustrated and high. The lifelong Oregonian and once classical music major at PSU had been using meth and says another homeless man approached him.
In the politest but bluntest way possible, it's like, dude, leave me the F alone. I don't want to be bothered right now. I'm very tired. I'm very frustrated. Could I talk to you later, please?
Prosecutors say that man, Jacob Lancey, was a recovering addict. According to court documents, he was mad that Fisher was strung out. Fisher, here, describing what he says happened next.
Because I looked up and he just had this mean look on his face, and he walked over, jumped over on top of me. His weight crushed me and put me in a headlock, bent my head down, and then punched me once. The second time he punched me behind the back, he had opened up the knife that originally was mine and stabbed me under the left scapula and turned it, dug in, and hit my spinal column.
He says the two locked eyes.
And I felt like the slightest pop in the middle of my back where he had cut the spinal cord, and then it was like lights going out on the city. Just the feeling was just leaving, draining away down my legs.
It took more than an hour for someone to find Fisher bleeding on the street and call 911. His dog was found hiding in the bushes unharmed. She's now staying with family while Fisher grapples with his new reality. Looking back, he knew life on the streets was dangerous.
In the 1 year that I'd been homeless here in Portland, I had been robbed several times. I had been nearly beaten up.
National statistics show it's a reality in most major cities. Homeless people are disproportionately the victims of violent crimes. One study cited by the LA Times shows 49% of homeless adults surveyed had been the victim of a violent attack, and 62% had witnessed an attack. Here in Portland, recent headlines paint a similar picture. Last month, police reported 2 homeless people were the victims of a hit and run. Witnesses said the driver had been taunting them beforehand. That same week, prosecutors charged a homeowner in Portland for lighting a camp on fire. And just last night, KGW reported the story of a man who called 911 when he saw teenagers attacking a homeless man downtown. For now, Fisher is just trying to recover from his own attack. This week, he moved into an adult foster home in Tigard. Insurance will pay for him to stay for 1 year. Then he's hoping to get a job and eventually get involved in local politics. He wants to help solve the housing crisis that he fears puts so many at risk.
Get more shelters, more response, and more attention to shelters to help people in there in that respect, get people off the streets at least at night, and make things a little bit safer for people.
Yeah, he's working so hard. So, by the way, just some more context in this case. We dug into Lancey's record. No violent past offenses that we could find. And Garrett James Fisher says Lancey actually came back briefly to put a cloth on his wound, but then left him again bleeding on the sidewalk after that attack. In this case, he is facing 2 felony counts, assault 1 and unlawful use of a weapon. And right now he's being held on more than $250,000 bail. Guys, back to you.
Boy, Maggie, that is a powerful story of what life can be like on the streets. We wish him well. Thank you, Maggie. Absolutely. Continuing our coverage now of a caught-on-camera attack, a Washington County inmate attacked a deputy seemingly out of nowhere. But now the family of that inmate is coming forward, saying there's more to the story. KGW's Lindsay Nadrich spoke with them and joins us now in the newsroom. Lindsay?
Well, the inmate in the video is Hayden Davis. He was booked on March 22nd for breaking into a home. The fight happened 9 days later on March 31st. His brother and father say he suffers from bipolar schizophrenia and wasn't getting the medication he needed.
Video from inside the Washington County Jail shows an inmate attacking a lone deputy.
There had been no history between us, good or bad, no disciplinary action at any point. That was actually the first encounter I've ever had with him.
The fight on March 31st between Deputy Daniel Guzman and Hayden Davis lasted about 30 seconds. Another inmate intervened, allowing Deputy Guzman to take control of the situation. The attack happened seemingly out of nowhere. At least, it looks that way to us. But to Hayden's family, it was no surprise. They say he suffers from bipolar schizophrenia, and when not medicated, he can become violent.
It's heartbreaking because I've seen him act that way towards me before.
I had a similar incident with my son, very similar to what, happened with that officer.
Hayden's diagnosis has been tough for his family. They say getting him the treatment he needs hasn't been easy. They've watched him cycle off and on medication and end up in jail numerous times.
Schizophrenia destroys families.
I can't tell you how many sleepless nights I've spent worried about, waking up in the middle of the night, literally crying, thinking, I'm going to get a phone call from somebody found my son under a bush somewhere, dead.
His family says he didn't get medication until after the attack. The Washington County Sheriff's Office says it can take time to verify an inmate's prescriptions and get them the medication they need.
When he takes his medications, he's a completely different person. He is the sweetest, most loving, caring kid that has just the biggest heart in the world.
They're now advocating for changes in the jail and mental health care system as a whole.
It's in society's best interest to treat this patient like a patient who needs their meds to keep them alive. It's that important, but that's not how it's treated.
A judge sentenced Hayden to more than 6 years in prison for his role in the attack, as well as the original crime that landed him in jail. As part of that sentence, the judge recommended he get mental health and substance abuse treatment.